Steve.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Looking
at the stuff. My son, I don't think, told me about that when I was there visiting him.
Well, when did he go to school? Well, it's, before his time.
Hey, Jan. Hey. Oh, that's Sean. Hey. Got it.
Okay, I guess we'll start. I'm sure many others are still coming, but we will try to stay on time here. Good morning and welcome. On behalf of the Colorado Coalition for Genocide Awareness and Action, I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to stand with us in support of our brothers and sisters in the Sudan. And for the press, if you are here, we want to thank you for coming, since it is you who can help us get the word out to all Coloradoans and the rest of the United States that here in Colorado, we care and stand with members of the Sudanese community to support them as they hear about the atrocities that are happening to members of their families and friends in Darfur, South Kordofan, Nuba Mountains, and Abyei. Our purpose of being on these steps again, because we've been here many times, is to make sure that you are aware. You will hear from people who have personally witnessed what is happening in their country. We are also here today to launch our media campaign that will give the Sudanese people living in Colorado the chance to tell their stories about their relatives and friends through interviews with the press, TV, and radio talk shows in Denver and in other parts of Colorado, so that all Coloradoans will become aware and take action. My name is Roz Duman, founder and director of CCGAA, a nonprofit organization that was founded in 2006. Its mission is to challenge our society to end complacency towards and raise awareness of genocides past and present, and take action to stop genocides present and future. We formed this organization because after World War II and the Holocaust, the world proclaimed never again. But genocide did happen again and again, and today, yet again. The killings, the rapes, the displacements, people taken into slavery, all keep happening. Why have we not learned our lesson? Why do most people still stay complacent and silent? And why do our world leaders let these architects of destruction continue on? Why can't civilized people stop the slaughtering of innocent men and children and stop ethnic cleansing? We will not go away until all this madness comes to an end, because we know that together we can and will make a difference in a genocidal age. We can and will raise awareness about genocide and its related issues. We can and will empower people to join together to take action to end genocide, and we can and will motivate our government to do the same. We can and will stand by the victims of genocide, provide support to them, and give them a voice. We can and we will create a world without genocide so that all people throughout the world will one day live in peace. Members of the CCGA have met for the last several years, actually since 2006, quarterly with staff members of our congressional delegation to keep them posted as to what is happening. We have members in the United States Congress from Colorado who truly care. On the Senate side, is Rosemary Rodriguez here? She was supposed to be here representing Senator Bennett's office. Also, Senator Mark Udall has sent the following statement, and I will read it. Greetings, friends. Thank you for gathering today to raise awareness about genocide and the need to support the newly independent Republic of South Sudan. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but please know that I have supported and will continue to support efforts to stop the acts of genocide in Sudan. It is imperative that the government of the United States and the international community join together to develop, fund, and implement a comprehensive and binding international agreement focused on the protection of civilians, renewed humanitarian operations, and steps to both reduce and contain the violence that impedes the region and its people. It is the right of all Sudanese people to enjoy a life free of civil conflict and genocide in a free and fair country in which all can realize their aspirations. My thanks go to the activists in the Colorado Coalition for Genocide Awareness and Action and the Sudanese community of Colorado for their tireless efforts to end the violence in Sudan. Warm regards, Mark Udall, U.S. Senator. And we were supposed to have another representative from Jared Polis's office here. Did he come? Thank you, George. Is that correct? Did I pronounce it right? Thank you. Congressman Polis has been a very supportive person, Congressman as well, for this cause. Anyone else from the United States Congress offices in Denver, Colorado? Okay, well, I do have a short letter from Congressman Ed Perlmutter, who couldn't be here as well. America has always been the beacon for hope and justice and freedom in the world. Unfortunately, the safety and security we enjoy is not always available throughout the world. This is why the United States must continue to assert its leadership in preventing genocide and other atrocities taking place around the world. I urge the international community to help to stop the violence taking place in Sudan and other nations in sub-Saharan Africa. We all know about the tough economic times many American families are facing, but we need to continue working to prevent current and future crimes against humanity. When I first took office, I stood behind the people of Darfur by supporting legislation to divest from companies involved with the Bashir government in Sudan. This year I was proud to co-sponsor the resolution affirming the Armenian genocide of the early 20th century. Lastly, I want to thank the Colorado Coalition for Genocide Awareness and Action for all their hard work in bringing to light human rights abuses across the world, stated U.S. Representative Ed Perlmutter. Thank you.
The Nuba people have fought in different fronts. They fought against our own people in what is now the Republic of South Sudan without knowing what they were doing. That was the policy of Khartoum, divide and rule. And that was a result of fighting our own people. Now, I would say the credit goes to the late Father Philip Abbas Ghabouch, who spent a quarter of a century teaching the Nuba people, reaching out to the Darfur people, and reaching out also to what is now the Republic of South Sudan. When one does not know what he or she is, one can act against the self. And that was what Nuba people did. They fought for others. They fought for others. And now it is time for the Nuba people to fight for themselves and for the rest of the Africans of Sudan. The word Sudan itself means black. It does not mean Arab. And we are, as African black people, are being forced to become Arabs. We are being forced to change our God-given identity into an alien identity. An Arab identity is alien to our land. We allowed them, we accepted them to live with us. And now they want to take over. And at home we have a saying that the wild chicken has come home to drive away the domestic chicken. And this is the situation of Sudan. This is the situation of Sudan. The Africans, the black Africans of Sudan, they are the people of the home. And our history goes back to the era before Christian era. If you go to the Old Testament, you will find in Isaiah and other parts of the Old Testament, you will find the mention and the stories about the Cush people. Cush people. And Cush means black Cushim. The word Nuba itself, it means gold. And this gold representing the resources of the land is what Bashir government is trying to do. Drive away the people of the land, replace them with the Arabs. And this is what they have been doing in Darfur. Replacing the indigenous people with the Arabs. Originally, as I mentioned earlier, Arabs do not belong to Sudan. But the present world demands diversity. And even those who are doing these acts in Sudan, a good number of them have lived in the West. Give one example, Nafe, who's the assistant to Bashir. He did PhD in California and has not learned what diversity means in the United States. He is among those extremists, blinded by misunderstanding religion. And their religion is with a small g, God with a small g is their own. It is not what all Muslims believe in. They don't differentiate between faith in God and religion, the culture. And here, what they are imposing is the Arab culture on the indigenous cultures. And we are grateful to the efforts of the United States, and US is the only world power that we can look up to help us get out from the mess that is happening at home. At present, in Nuba Mountains, people are being bombed. If you see there, an Antonov plane, people are being bombed by chemical weapons. And thank God we have the mountains and the caves to hide in. This, I would say, it was in the wisdom of God that gave us that mountainous nature to be our mothers, to protect us, as Bishop Dudu mentioned. And Bishop Dudu, he is the Bishop of Kadugli, the Episcopal Bishop of Kadugli and the Nuba Mountains. Himself was targeted. If he was not out here, he would have been killed. His diocese is in a mess because of this murderous act of Khartoum regime. Now I hand over to Bishop Mdudu.
I'm very grateful this morning to bring awareness to the people of Colorado, the US government, the international community, including African Union and Arab League, to tell what's the atrocities and genocide that's going on in the mountains. And this is the same atrocities happening not only in Nuba Mountains, but in Abyei, in Darfur, as you see in the map, and in the Blue Nile. It is the same government, the Islamic government headed by Bashir, who was wanted by the International Criminal Court. It's the same people committing atrocities and genocide for all these years. The governor Ahmad Haroun, who imposed as the governor on Southern Sudan and Southern Kordofan, he was the same man who committed atrocities and genocide in Darfur. And in the recent war, which started last June, In Kadugli, if I take example, in my offices was set on fire. Everything burned down, and we have the cyber cafe was burned down, and my house was shut off, and everything is finished. Even in my cathedral, which is new, was built 2 years ago. Not only my diocese, but many houses, residents, for the people who are believed to be supporting the SPLA, including other denominations, not only the Christians, but also the Muslims, the black Muslims. The black Muslims are not considered as the same level to the Arab Muslims. If we take example of Darfur, 90% of people of Darfur are true Muslims. In Nuba Mountains, currently as we speak, people are bombed on everyday basis with the antennas, killing the civilians, not the soldiers, but bombing the villages, the markets, and churches, and mosques, for example, in Kaura. In Kadugli and other cities, the government militias go to door to kill the black people, the Nubian, who believe to be supporting SPLA. Now in Nuba Mountains, people cannot cultivate because of the bombings. And this is the time of farming. We are going to face the famine next year. And when I say next year, it is in October. It is the time supposed to have our harvest, but because of these bombings, we will have nothing. If you have not died by bombings, you will die with hunger next year. And the world still standing. I have been to talk to many people. I was in UN headquarters in New York, Washington State, Washington DC. I have talked to the Congress. But still, there is no tangible action which is taken up to now. Because there is two politics in Nuba Mountains. This is the rich land of oil, of gold, uranium. I know some other nations, they're benefiting from the oil of the Nuba people and we're getting zero. That's why they're blocking the US government, they're blocking other UN members to take action against the government of Khartoum. Not only that, but humanitarian organizations are not allowed to give food or medicine to the hungry people and wounded people. We have only one doctor in Kaura Hospital from Germany. And this is what is going on. Every day I've been updated. I've given emails, calls on what's going on. And still the world saying there is not enough information, there is not enough media from the down, yet they were prohibited to go there. And also, what is taking place is ethnic cleansing. If the government is bombing its own people in the markets, in the churches, this is the ethnic cleansing. And mass graves have been discovered last July. One grave was discovered, and last week we have more 5 mass graves were discovered in Kadugli. It's not only satellite images, but we have talked to people on the ground. And therefore we are here urging and pleading with the people of Colorado to support us. We are pleading for the US government, international communities, to help us. First, to stop the planes that's bombing people every day. to impose ceasefire in Nuba Mountains. As we know, the government of Sudan is always breaking the agreements. And the international community, they know when they solve a problem here, Bashir, president of Sudan, begin the war in another place. We have been dealing with Darfur. When the South Sudanese go, they study in the Nuba Mountains. And they study in Abyei. And next tomorrow to be somewhere else. This is the time of the government is just used to bloodshed. This is the government the world is tolerating. This is the government of the system. The International Criminal Court condemned, but yet they still. Last 2 weeks, UN organization was expelled from Sudan. The government of Sudan did not want to renew their contract anymore. So now the Sudan and the people of Nuba and other marginalized area, they left in chaos. Nobody is listening, nobody is monitoring, nobody is giving any ear to the people. We count ourselves, we are human beings. We count ourselves, we need help and we need assistance. We want the international community to send their peacekeeping troops to be able to monitor the peace so that we will have serious negotiation between the two parties to have freedom and peace for the people of Nuba. And we urge also the community to investigate in mass graves that's taking place in Nuba Mountains so that those who committed these crimes, they can be accountable. And at the same time, we want the media to go on the ground to tell what is taking place, to give the world the updates on what's going on in the mountains. Thank you so much for hearing, and we appreciate the JCC for organizing this and the Sudanese community, those who are here, and all the US people who are coming to listen and coming to participate with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop. Before our next speaker, I wanted to recognize Colorado State Senator Suzanne Williams, who's in the crowd here. Thank you so much. And Representative Max Tyler, who has been helping us this morning. Thank you. We're so happy he gives us his wife to work with us. And I want to acknowledge our board members who are here. Thank you very much. Okay. Deb Gardner, House Representative Deb Gardner. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And if anybody else is here that I haven't recognized, please let me know. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Omagane Dayin. Omagane has lived in Colorado for several years. She has become part of our Speakers Bureau. She's an amazing lady. She didn't even talk English when we first met her. She's a Sudanese, she's, like I said, from Darfur. She's a Sudanese professor, activist, and refugee. And she just came back, thank God, well. She just came back from Darfur in the Sudan. And so she too is an eyewitness of what is going on there today. Omagane. Okay, she has to take out her remarks. We'll just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Omagane. I'm from Sudan, and my husband Kamal used to teach at Zaling University, and I have the real experience about what happened in Darfur. And in 2003, I have my real experience while I am living in Darfur, and my husband, leader, come to my husband and tell him one day we will be genocide in Darfur. And after that we decided to leave, to flee to Egypt with my husband and kids. And I came here as a refugee with my family. Now I am proud. I am a citizen. American citizen in Colorado. I live in Lakewood. After 7 years, I decided to visit my people in Darfur, and in May, I traveled to Darfur and I visit the refugee camp in Darfur, and the genocide and the problem in Darfur continue until now. And I hear to their statement in the refugee camp, and I have evidence, and I have real statements and real story about their life in Darfur. And a few weeks ago, I returned back from my visiting, and I am hoping people, they can understand this real problem and real genocide in Darfur. Please understand the problem in Darfur, and the problem in Darfur, it didn't end until now. And we working very hard with my friend Susan Taylor, and we will do presentation about with the photos and video about the genocide and about the problem and suffering people in Darfur. Please understand the problem in Sudan. It didn't end. Omar al-Bashir continued doing his burning and killing and raping women in Darfur. Please tell everyone, you know, your friend, your relative, your people, about people suffering in Darfur, Nuba Mountain, and Angasana. The killing and suffering will not end until you all stand up and demand action. Please, if you only for the children in Darfur. And I am hoping people can understand the genocide and the suffering and problem in Darfur, and we hoping we can find the solution for this problem in Sudan. And I am speaking now as a Sudanese woman, and I know women and children in Darfur and Nuba Mountain and the other part in Sudan, they suffering a lot from burning, killing, kidnapping, raping, and I hope I can find a solution for this problem. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you again. Is the representative from the governor's office here? We do have a proclamation that was written for us for this day. And so we'll just go ahead and hopefully he'll be here. Derek? We're very pleased and honored to have representative from Mayor Michael Hancock's office, Derek Akubo, who's the Executive Director of the Human Rights and Community Relations Agency for the City and County of Denver. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Roz, and thank you for everything that you do for this important cause. So I just want to say a few brief things on behalf of Mayor Hancock and the City and County of Denver. And my organization, my agency, the Agency for Human Rights and Community Relations, I bring greetings and I bring support for the Sudanese people who have and are continuing to experience the horrors of genocide in their country. What has been going on in the Sudan for the last number of years is nothing short of unfathomable and unthinkable. The tales of the ethnic cleansing, the horrors, experiences, hundreds of thousands killed, millions displaced, and scores of others that are still trapped in refugee camps and behind the borders. So one thing that we have among us here in Denver, and I know the mayor feels strongly about this as well, is that we consider our Sudanese brothers and sisters who have found themselves here in Denver as fellow community members. And while this genocide and political strife continues to rage in their homelands. Virtually all these folks, all our friends, fellow community members have lost loved ones. They have family members who are still trapped behind those borders. And if we take a few moments just to even reflect on what that must be like for them, for us to be in their shoes, it is simply unthinkable. So let's just say that while some people may look upon you, my fellow community members, as survivors or even as lucky, I know that I myself look upon you as just to say that you are the strongest of the strong. So here in Denver, of course, most of you are here because of your passion and your interest in our fellow community members and what is going on in the Sudan. But we can all do more as far as continuing to let others know what is happening, spending some of our spiritual time and energy, voice and resources in supporting organizations like Roz's and the others that are working with our refugee community here in Denver. It's the only way that together we have to come together in order to make a difference for our fellow community members and the countries that they have called home for so long. So thank you very much, Roz.
Thank you so much, Derek.
Al-Bashir to ICC! Al-Bashir to ICC! Al-Bashir to ICC! Al-Bashir must go! Al-Bashir must go! Al-Bashir must go! Al-Bashir must go! Al-Bashir to ICC! Al-Bashir to ICC!
Okay, for closing remarks, and again, we're supposed to have someone from the governor's office with a proclamation today. I don't know what happened to him, but he's not far. Closing remarks and introduction of our songwriter will be a very special lady who for so many years has been going back to the Sudan to unify slaves, modern-day slaves, with their families. She's an incredible woman, and I've known her since the day we started this organization. Pastor Heidi McGinnis, Director of Outreach, Christian Solidarity International USA, and she's a member of our organization, and we're so honored.
What can we say in light of such mind-numbing persecution and suffering, such carnage reported to us by the eyewitness accounts of our speakers, who tell us of bestial savagery perpetrated against our siblings, the Nuba people, the Darfuri people, the people of Abyei. Genocides and ethnic cleansing campaigns unleashed for almost 30 years by that wanted war criminal, that genocidaire, that Pharaoh of Khartoum, Omar Hassan al-Bashir. Bashir, who has been giving instant citizenship to the Arabs from Morocco and Yemen, giving them tacit approval to take over the ancestral lands of the Fua, the Sagawa, and Mazalit people of Darfur, while the rightful owners suffer in refugee camps and are still being murdered by government militia from Khartoum. What can we say in light of children, women eviscerated in southern Kordofan, civilian unarmed men hunted down by butchers turned loose by Khartoum? I tell you what we can say and must in light of such atrocities against our siblings. We must continue with our unflinching resolve to end the slaughter of civilians in southern Kordofan, to put an end to war against the Nuba people. We must continue our unflinching resolve to be with our Darfuri siblings and having their ancestral lands returned to the Darfuri and put an end to the war in Darfur. A continuing unflinching resolve that that Abyei belongs to South Sudan as it has from the beginning of time, not nomadic Mizrahi Arab squatters ushered in by Khartoum. A continued and unreflenching resolve to bring South Sudanese citizens taken in as slaves by government-sponsored slavery from Khartoum to bring them home to the south of Sudan once again. This is no pie in the sky wishful thinking talk. Oh no, it is not. We can achieve this. My fellow Coloradans, may I remind you that the 2002 Sudan Peace Agreement had its genesis in Colorado, and that the peace agreement, the CPA of 2005 was ushered in on its coattails. My fellow Coloradans and siblings of the Sudanese diaspora, may I remind you that Colorado divested from public pension funds in 2007 from companies that do business with Bashir's genocidal regime. And in 2009, through the initiative of that remarkable Raz Duman, Colorado became the first state in the Union to have an official Genocide Awareness Day. That act, that official act, committed Coloradans to stand with victims of genocide. And on July 9th, over 1,000 of us gathered to celebrate Independence Day for the Republic of South Sudan. We have done this together, Coloradans and Sudanese in the diaspora. We've done it together with thousands of others because we never gave up. We never gave up. We never gave up on our siblings suffering genocide and ethnic cleansing in Sudan. And we will not give up on the people of South Kordofan, of Darfur, Abyei, Southern Blue Nile region, and the Bija people as well. We will not forget them or their sacrifice. For 9 years, I have seen with my own eyes the atrocities to which our speakers have given witness today. And I know firsthand that you and I can make the difference between hope and despair, life and death, because we have made the difference between hope and despair, life and death in the past, and we can and must do it again, to do what is right by God, to do what is right by innocent victims of Khartoum's slaughter of the Darfuri and the Nuba people. If we are serious about never again, and I believe that we are, then we must continue to do our part to stop the blood-soaked hand of that genocidaire in Khartoum. We have done it before, we can do it again. And we can do it through diplomacy, through political action, by insisting on a no-fly zone, and by prayer and prayerful action. And never, ever give up on putting pressure on Khartoum and on communist China and the UN. You and I, we must continue to be a part of that holy procession of hope, of justice and peace for the Darfuri and the Nuba people, so that one day soon, Bolos El-Toum's poignant lament for his people, his song of sorrow, will one day soon be a song of victory and joy for his people, for all the people of Sudan. To that end, God bless you one and all. And now, Bolos El-Toum, and also his friends Magog and Musa, and after that we have a most special and a most important guest who has arrived, who will address us as well. God bless you all.
Stop
violence in Darfur. Stop violence in Nuba Mountains. Stop violence in Darfur.
Shama.
Steve.
How are you?
How are you? Thank you
Fine,
for coming.
fine. You're welcome. Hello.
Very well. Stop violence in Darfur. Stop violence in Darfur. Stop genocide in Nuba. Stop genocide in Nuba. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide in Sudan. Stop genocide in Sudan. Stop genocide in Sudan. Stop genocide in Sudan. Al-Bashir to ICC. Al-Bashir to ICC. Al-Bashir to ICC. Al-Bashir to ICC.
We need the world to stop this killing. The people of the Nuba Mountain are dying every day. What is the people in the world? What is the international community? What is the UN? What is the United States of America? All the people of the Nuba Mountain are always killed by the Northerners. We need help from the international community. Thank you. The Moro language is one of the area where most of these pictures, the government bombed that areas and killed a lot of children and women, and bombing the churches in that areas. And that place where Paul is coming from.
One more time.